Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good deal.
Thank you for being flexible. I went to a networking meeting in Belton, and I don't think I'm gonna make it back by 10.
Oh, what kind of meeting was it?
It was Master Networks, and they have like 50 members down there.
Oh, was that the big one?
Yeah. This was their
Was
first
it
in-person meeting.
was it worth going? Was it cool?
It was worth going. I don't know that they had a financial person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't hear anybody say but I wasn't really listening that hard for it. I was trying to make sure there wasn't any handyman.
Well, did you know someone in that group?
I walked in there and I knew nobody, which is
Oh.
very weird. Yeah, not a soul.
I don't think I know too many down there.
But that's it.
Somebody invited you, or you just knew of it that you wanted to check out?
I knew of it because when we had a franchisee down there, I urged her to go to it, and that's how I found out about it. And then Max and I are opening up Bell County because it's never really been run right. We've had 3 different owners down there, and nobody's ever run it right.
Oh, really?
We're like,
You're gonna have a space out there, or run it from where you're at now?
just gonna run it from where we're 10 minutes from Bell
Right.
County. So
Okay, cool.
yeah. And we're gonna focus on Temple and Belton. I don't want Killeen or Parker.
You're gonna stop it, draw a line there.
Yeah.
Hey, are these too glaring? I'm not used to using these for webinars, and I can't tell if it's. Can you even see my face through that?
I can see your face through it.
Oh, so do you do this every week? What's this one? I've seen it mentioned before, and I don't know if it's like a separate series
It
that
is.
you're doing.
I have the podcast. I do it every day, 5 days a week. And on Fridays, I always do Ask an Expert, and it's nothing to do with the handyman or household cleaning field. Usually it's somebody that kind of compliments us, but I've had a Mary Kay lady on. I've had a coffee expert on. It's just different things that people might be interested in. So it's just a series that we have with the podcast, and it's a hit.
Nice.
But we do go live on Facebook, and then we have the podcast, and then I convert it over to YouTube, usually in the afternoons. But I'm getting ready to go live. Do you have any more questions?
No, anything I need to know?
No, it's just like a conversation between you and I.
Okay.
Yeah, super simple. Let me fix my lighting. Better. All right. Takes a minute for this to go on Facebook. And then I'll ask you what's the best way to get a hold of you, and that's where you can put your info up.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Sometimes Spouse Podcast. I am Christy Ogle, the host of the Sometimes Spouse Podcast, and today is Ask an Expert. We have a financial expert, Mr. Matthew Boudreaux. Welcome, Matthew.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you. We want to know a lot about what's going on in the market and that sort of thing. But before we get into that, I want to know, how did you become a financial advisor?
Oh, goodness. Well, one of those long, probably boring stories, but initially, after going through school and everything, I was in education, I was in ministry, and music. And most of the time when you think of, especially education and ministry, it's not a very, I guess, high net worth, high earning, wealthy type of situation. So I was on a mission to find all the hacks and like, what's the best way to save money? How do I make money long term? And so if you know me, I'm a very analytical question asker. And I had people in my back pocket that I would constantly ask, hey, how do I do this? What do I need to do this way? And so over a period of time, I kind of, I guess, learned a few things. And especially with a friend of mine who had gone into the financial world, he'd always say, hey, you ask questions that I guess the normal person wouldn't. If you ever change careers, you should really think about this because you think of it differently. And so that was kind of always in the back of my mind. And several years back, I guess about 10, 15 years ago, I had the opportunity to change careers. And that was in the back of my mind. And with a couple organizations I was with, I kind of got involved as a financial coach and help people plan and help just educate in different ways. And it was kind of like this natural progression. Got a license here, did some insurance things, got some coaching done. And over time, when I realized, hey, this could really turn into something beyond part-time, it just kind of, like I said, naturally progressed. Enjoy it, enjoy the people side of it, I enjoy the planning side of it, I enjoy the education side of it. So it's just a really good fit.
Well, the education side comes naturally because you were an educator previously, right?
Exactly. It really changed that skill set, just kind of different topic,
So what did you teach?
Music.
At what age?
Mostly music. I've taught every age. I've taught public school. I've taught middle school age. I've taught high school age. I've taught at community college. I've done kind of the gamut. And obviously, the older the age, I think, is the more enjoyable for me personally, just because the level of interaction, the level of, I don't know, the younger ages, I guess I can kind of say it was fun, but it was just a lot of the same stuff over and over. And I like the more engaging type of interaction there.
So tell us about a hobby that you really enjoy.
I would say music is number one. I enjoy listening to music. I like going to hear music live. That is up there at the top of my list, along with college football. I'm a college football nerd. Thankfully, I live here in a college town. If I didn't, it would be very difficult for me because I'd have to chase it somewhere. I grew up a huge LSU fan, originally from Louisiana, but coming to Waco, I've absolutely adopted them as my hometown team.
You don't have any kind of drawl or anything like that?
Oh, I left. I graduated high school in Louisiana. I grew up there my entire life, but graduated high school and left and haven't been back. I've lived in Missouri, California, Colorado, Texas. So I think all of the other places have now outweighed because I have been gone there longer than I lived there. So yeah, other people tell me that too.
What part of Missouri did you live in?
Springfield.
No way, I was born in Springfield.
You were born? I knew you had a connection there.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we talked about, but yeah, I was there for 4 years. I went to college, Evangel University right there in Springfield.
Wow, I went to College of the Ozarks in Branson.
What is it? College of the Ozarks, OTC. It was SMS at the time. Now it's Missouri State. I almost took classes at all of those schools as I was producing. I almost stayed there for my master's, ended up leaving. And now I'm glad I did, but I almost lived there a little bit longer.
Well, the weather's better in Texas.
Yeah, well, yeah, and 4 seasons there, except for the humidity. I think that was new for me because I growing up in Louisiana, and the humidity and the rain and having actual snow on the ground was interesting. It was fun.
What years were you in Missouri?
Well, if you ask me that, I've got to give away my age. I was there 96 through 2000.
Wow, I was at C of O from 96 to 98. So we were like cross.
Yeah, right in there at the same time.
Or something.
Yeah, I wish I would have had a little bit longer. I mean, obviously as a college student, you're limited and to be able to do some things. But I enjoyed my time there. I got to do a few things. I like being centrally located. Got to, I guess, be close to other big cities. I would go to St. Louis, Kansas City, even Chicago. Got to see those cities that I obviously wouldn't have normally been close enough to travel to easily.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little city. One of my favorite things about Springfield, Missouri, or Ozark, Missouri, is that Lambert's Cafe. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
rolls.
Absolutely. I've been there many times. And it's funny because we as family go to Orange Beach, Alabama, to the beach out there
Uh-huh.
every couple of years. And they have a Lambert's, I forget where, but it's either on the way or not too far from there. And we've been there a couple of times here in the past, 10 years or so. And it reminded me of the good old college days of Lambert's and Ozark.
Yeah. And if you finished your meal there, they would refill your meal. I always tried to do that in college, but I never could because they give you such big portions.
Oh, huge portions. Yeah. Never left there hungry.
No, never, never. We highly recommend Lambert's in case you're ever in a Lambert's area.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good stuff.
So
I
let's
remember
talk.
their mac and cheese
Oh my gosh. Do
and
you remember that
the
fried potatoes too that they would pass
yeah,
around?
they were all good. It was some sorghum something. I don't remember. I remember just yelling. They walk around yelling with big pots and spoons and dumping stuff on plates. And they may not do it that way anymore, but
They might not throw the rolls anymore, but I remember
oh,
I would put my hand in front of Max's face and
try and steal it away.
he would get so mad because then it hit his big bald head.
Oh, move out the way so that it would hit him. Yeah, that's great.
You had to have those quick cat-like reflexes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So tell us what the market looked like pre-COVID.
So pre-COVID, we're coming on the end of, just a 10-year bullish market. Record setting here and there, unprecedented numbers of, oh man, it can't get any better. And then it get better. And then there's like, just the past few years, they say, no, we're waiting for this correction. We're waiting for some sort of, not necessarily crash, but just unprecedented times of values up and wealth building and things like that. So as a correction might have been expected, I don't think nobody could have put their finger on pinpointing it's going to be because of this virus. It just kind of all happened all at the same time, this big intersection of crazy things, if you will.
So what happened to that record-breaking times in the market when COVID happened?
What happened? I guess so. I think one way really try to explain. So you've got three things happening here. Okay, you've got the economy doing what it's doing, you've got the market doing what it's doing, and then you have this virus kind of thrown into it. And so the market was doing well, the economy was doing well, and then when the virus hit, it slowed down. Obviously, you talk about the unemployment numbers. You can talk about all the different things that happened to that. But as soon as it hit the workplace, people stopped working. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people slowed down their jobs. Well, that immediately slowed down the economy. And when it slows down the economy, everybody starts freaking out. And a lot of what happens in the market is a reflection of what's happening in the economy or what they expect to happen in the economy. Because obviously the beginning and the middle of March, a lot of crazy extreme reaction. And I don't know how close you paid attention to this past week. Couple of days thrown in there were very high performing days because of expected reaction. And then just yesterday, after several days of the upward trajectory, we had a down day, and it's all reaction. A week or so, it might have been 2 weeks ago, there was this talk of, oh, they're building this, the medication to treat, the vaccines. And so all because it was in the news that these companies were on the brink of developing these vaccines, all of a sudden the market went up. Well, it started going down again, and then all of a sudden the unemployment numbers came out, and they're like, oh, it wasn't as bad as we thought. Well, the reaction to that, the market started going up. So the market is very reactionary to what's going on in the economy. And the economy, you've got all the numbers being reported. Sometimes the numbers can be reported quickly. Sometimes it takes the end of the month for the numbers to be reported. Sometimes it takes the end of the quarter for the numbers to be accurately reported. And all of these things, honestly, we're just sitting back waiting, and whatever the numbers show, we react upon. And you've got all these moving pieces happening.
So what can I do as like a normal everyday person to take care of my financial security for the future with this kind of volatility that's going on in the economy, in the market, in the world?
Yeah, well, it starts kind of on the individual. So you as an individual, you as your family, you as your business, because I know you're a business owner. Just instead of looking at the big picture and being reactionary like so much you see in the headline, it's all a matter of taking control of what you can control, being smart with your day-to-day. You can't necessarily plan as you were before, but planning is definitely the key. And so a lot of the conversations that we had, a lot of the businesses are slowing down. Well, our phone lines have just crazy because people are concerned, people are scared, people are facing the unknown. And we just bring it back to, hey, well, look at your situation under a microscope. Your planning needs to kind of be in high gear for now. And for some people, that means nothing's changed. For some people, a lot of things have changed. And so when we're talking about the market, we're talking about investments, we always come back to, hey, what's your plan? And what's your long-term plan? What's your short-term plan? And if that is affected by crazy markets, up and downs in the markets, well, your plan needs to change. But if you've got 20 years to work, 20 years left in your career before you have to worry about what your response to the markets are doing, then maybe nothing needs to change. And so everybody's different. Every individual situation is different based on your age, your income, your employment. If you've got a job where nothing has changed, then you don't need to do a whole lot different. Now we're focusing on, hey, what's your emergency fund look like? What's your savings look like? Because your short term might need to be a little bit more sensitive. You've got married couples where they both have jobs that are just haven't been affected. But then you've also got homes where, things have been turned upside down. They can't pay the rent, can't pay the mortgage. And so that's why these savings, these emergency funds, these emergency methods are in place for times like this, because you can't predict the market. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen today. It's not halfway through today. We're waiting to see what the market's going to do today based on yesterday. So
if you were talking to somebody, do they need a financial planner? Does everyone need a financial planner, or only certain people? How would they know?
I think everyone needs financial planning. Not everyone needs to hire a financial planner. There are things, when you're first starting out, and there's certain measures that you need to take in place. And sometimes you can figure that out on your own. Again, it depends on your job. Like we were saying, if you have these benefits where things are put in place for you and you're well taken care of, you're going to be provided probably some sort of financial advisement through the workplace situations where there's 401k. But when you're self-employed, that's all on you. And so in the same way, a lot of other professional roles are needed. A lot of people might need a financial planner or a financial advisor just to kind of organize those things. Because as a financial planner, we're here to help you plan. We're here to help you think about the things that might not be on your radar, that might not be on your everyday. Because you're going to be hit in one way or another, whether it's tax time, whether it's the economy reacting a certain way, whether it's cycles in your business. Certain times of year might be better for you than others, and you need to be prepared for the worst times instead of just focusing on, hey, it's great right now, I'm not going to worry about that rainy day. So I think a financial planner brings value to help you think outside of what's in your vision. You can see things that might creep up, and you need to be prepared for those moments. So at some point in your life, yeah, everyone needs some sort of financial planner input, but at the point where you're in now, not everybody might need where you're at now.
So you do much more than just the market with people. I heard you say lots of different things. So tell me about the wide array of what a financial planner can do for someone.
Yeah, so financial planner is a very vague term. I've heard people from all kinds of different backgrounds of financial services use that word. Some people don't like to be called a planner because they're not helping plan. Some people are just selling products, and there's different terms for that too. But so we are an all-inclusive financial planning firm. We're independent. We're not tied to a product. We're not tied to a specific method. We talk to people from every background, every walk of life, really, and it's all about them. Because one, like we were saying earlier about the preparation with what's going on in the markets, with the virus and everything, everybody needs something a little bit different. And so we're here to meet with individuals that might need something completely opposite of the next person. And so I think with a lot of what we wear in our sleeve is the investment management. As a financial advisor, we deal with a lot of investments, and in the investment world has a lot more regulations and procedures and disclosures and disclaimers, just all of these things that are very highly regulated. So a lot of times we have to go kind of by that protocol and filter everything through those regulations. But beyond investments, we do a lot of retirement planning when people get ready to retire. They have these years of assets behind them, these years of things for the last 40, 50 years even. Well, we help them kind of cross into that world of working, what they've been doing, savings, and matching that up with what assets they have. We look at their Social Security picture and see how that fits into their investments. We looked at their tax planning picture and see how that fits into the investments, because a lot of the vehicles that they have, it can make or break their tax situation. When people choose to begin taking Social Security, can make or break their whole financial picture in retirement. And so a lot of people come with all of these different things in their belt: insurance products, pensions from work. It might be just straight investments. And so we help them put all those pieces together and figure out, okay, I could blindly do this and just figure out where am I going to pull my assets from, or we help them organize an even timeline of, okay, you need to look at this first, because where you're at in life now, whether it's a health situation or whether a tax bracket might be higher or lower, depending on how we rearrange things, we help them think through that process and maximize their money to last the rest of their life in the best possible situation.
When should a person really start thinking about their retirement?
Yesterday. There's a saying, and of course I'm not going to quote it probably correctly because I know I was going to say it, but the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. Second best time is today, just because the roots that a lot of these things develop and build, it takes time. And so, I was talking about this somewhat recently. My son is 16. He just started his first job, and I've already started to put that bug in his ear because, we're in the conversation of, you got to think about your car insurance that you got to pay. You got to think about all the fun stuff after you pay the required things. But we need to start talking about retirement soon, because if you think of your paycheck, whether how small it is at 16, a small portion of that, if you just put that aside and consider it for later, you can be very wealthy a lot sooner in life than you think. And most people wait too long. Most people get all the things they want and need. And of course, there are a lot of necessities early in that phase of life. But the sooner you can plan that, at least think it through and understand the consequences, the results, the benefits of planning early, the better. So everybody needs to at least think about that. I wish somebody would have gotten my face 20 years ago and told me and educated me and shown me the difference. I'd be a lot better shape than I am now. I think most people can probably say it that way.
Yeah, I wish somebody would have grabbed a hold of me when I was, 16, 18, 20 years old, right out of college, right?
Right.
And said, hey, start thinking about your future. You could be a millionaire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
45, right?
Yeah. And with discipline starting that early. Yeah, it would be very easy to be a millionaire. Had we known something at 20 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. But I did take a long period of time off to raise my babies. I took about 10 years off to be a stay-at-home mom, domestic engineer. So I would have had those 10-year gap, but still I'd be 20 years ahead of where I am now.
Yep. Well, and most people, families who want kids, that's an absolute need in the current state. Kids are expensive. There are a lot of things that come along with that. And so all the better reason to start early.
So Matthew, if any of our listeners want to get a hold of you to do a consultation, and does it cost for a consultation?
Oh, absolutely not. We'll talk with anyone, have a conversation with anyone, because, we're obviously looking to help the clients, but we want to make sure that we're a good fit on both sides. And so a conversation needs to take place before any of that is determined.
Yeah, he is great. He's amazing. He's helped several people that I know with their financial planning. How do they get a hold of you, Matthew?
Yeah, the best way is, there's several best ways. They can email Matt, M-A-T-T, at clearvistafinancial.com. They can come to our website, clearvistafinancial.com, or they can call our number, 800-491-4508. Easy to find online. Anybody can reach out and find us there.
Awesome. Well, before I leave, I always like to ask one fun question of our experts that we have on. So Matthew, if you were stranded on a desert island and all of your human needs were met, what would be the two things that you would take with you on this desert island?
So all of my human needs are met. Let's see. Does I guess internet is not available on a desert island, so that eliminates several things that come to mind first. So I would say the first one is my guitar. That's the easy one. And the second one, all my human needs are met.
Yep.
I'd have to go. I have no idea. Food's taken care of. Oh, geez, Christy. I don't know. I have no idea.
You got your food, you got your shelter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming we have electricity so we can have AC. That'd be miserable on a desert island.
Am I alone? Am I isolated by myself on this deserted island, like all alone?
Totally up to you. Is that a human need?
Well, yeah, I'd want my family with me. I don't know if that counts.
I would too. I counted them when I was asked.
Oh, okay. All right. So my family and then my guitar.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for being on the Sometimes Spouse podcast. It has been a joy. I am Christy Ogle. Thank you, Matthew Boudreaux.
Thank you for having me.